talked about, when you shame your enemy.
Absolutely.
Well, but it's all good. It's good to have Anita with us here in the studio today. Anita was a little under the weather last week, but she's back and better. She's stronger. Yes, so we should go and run and do marathon. You didn't even run in the Lagos State Marathon
Who
last
told you I
week.
did? Did you see me on TV?
You
Don't
don't
worry,
blame me.
get ready this year. I'm going to be.
It's good to have you here this
Thank
morning,
God it's
Anita. Thank God
Friday.
it's Friday.
Amazingly, it's always good to enjoy good health. Especially if you are the type that you are so active, you are just up and down, doing so many things. You just have to take some time to rest. If not, the way they say it, our body is, just like a normal engine. When you don't try and services or do some necessary things, it will, be down. So, but it's good to be alive, good to be strong, back up again. And I hope that even as we run into the weekend, we'll, as many of us out there, we'll take some little time to rest and relax our minds, our brain, everything. Let's just take it cool. God is in control.
Let us take it cool. God is in control. Well, that is Adito's voice this morning. And yes, we're going to go straight into the dailies this morning. Do well to be part of the conversation here on the newspaper review. Send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537. We start off with the pen pushing newspaper this morning. Buhari returns to Nigeria after London medication. And also Muslim Converge in Ibadan for maiden edition of the late Abiola Ajimobi's Ramadan lecture. And for the record, enough of those insults and insensate power mongering, a critic of the communique of the Northern People's Summit. The This Day newspaper has the headline, Emefiele, it's inappropriate to give coloration to currency printing. And federal government, unpatriotic citizens made Twitter snub Nigeria for Ghana. Buhari returns from medical trip, confident in service chiefs. And worsening insecurity threats to Nigeria's unity, says Ohaneze. And federal government lifts the ban on new SIM card issuance. And the Nation newspaper has the headline, Explosion throws Port Harcourt into darkness, as CBN to place sugar wheat on FX restriction list. And Buhari to IG, don't fail Nigeria. Also, alleged 7.9 billion naira fraud, EFCC offers Okorocha bail. The Guardian has the headline, Stop Playing the Ostrich, Obaseki fires back at federal government. And gunmen killed 3 policemen at checkpoint in Ebonyi State. And also government okays issuance of new mobile lines with NIN. And Lagos to experience 261 days rainfall, plan own weather station. And IGP vows to restore public confidence in police. The Punch newspaper has the headline, Killer Fruit Juice, Kano confirms 10 dead, 400 hospitalized, Lagos residents. And we don't buy arms, we produce locally, IPOB tells DSS. 9 power plants shot, federal government apologizes for outrage and controversy as Osun youth protest after eating a child christening. All right. This is the headlines on the dailies this morning. We're going to take it one step at a time this morning. But Adito, let's start off with inflation. Inflation rate is down to 18.17%. It's up 18.17%. And Nigerians have been struggling with some unpleasant news lately, especially from the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics. Many were, however, not jolted by the NBC report. It shows that Nigeria's inflation rate surged to 18.17% amid high food prices, the highest in 4 years. Also, accompanying the inflation figure was NBC's report showing consumption expenditure of Nigerian households fell in the full year of 2020, while that of the government increased during the same year. It was also learned that the disposable income declined in the Q4 of 2020. At the time, consumption expenditure dwindling among Nigerians. The government rose to 61.58% in 2020. Stakeholders have expressed concern about the country's mounting inflation pressure on static household income, citing the need to address the causal factors before it becomes unsustainable. Indeed, food inflation, a closely watched index, spiked to 22.95% from 21.7% recorded in the previous month. The food price and the cost of transportation gets out of the reach of an average Nigerian whose income have been truncated and even irregular as it may be. And so what are some of the things you have noticed with regards to inflation, with regards to prices? I, for one, noticed. I think it was 2 weekends ago. I had to travel to Abeokuta from, what's that place there, Ibafo, and then I was told that it was 1,000 naira. I was like, Abeokuta here, less than 40 minutes trip is now 1,000 naira, and I'm wondering why. And that just to to add to that, I have this water company supply me water, that's such a water in the house, and then the guy calls and be like, Oga, it's now 1,500 for what? Is he? Am I drinking good? It's even you go to the market, buy like tomatoes 400 naira is next to nothing. It's as good as just not even buying at all.
It's even good that experience some of these slight changes, and let's just hope that it doesn't get beyond this. You remember when there were rumors that concerning the high price of pump price, and there were so many discomfort here and there, even in views and comments, and even the way we begin to adapt or change, make some changes in whatever it is that we are doing. This usually happens because the fact that fuel increase would affect food production, and then once it affects food production and other aspects of production, that the end consumer is the one that will suffer the most. And aside that, there are other issues around the economy that will begin to, you will see an upsurge of events coming up concerning those things. As you have mentioned, of course, transportation will be the number one that will be it, because you want to move from one place to the other. The driver will increase his fare because he's going to tell you, madam, not say fuel don't they don't they, even if the thing never increase, they will tell you, they will remind you. So even if you are not conscious of the fact that this thing might change, there might be some radical change, they will remind you. And aside that, even when you get to the cost of the market women, they will also remind you that, don't you know what is happening? It also shows us that, when the economy of the country is being affected, the masses largely are going to suffer for it. One, then you begin to wonder that all the borrowing we've been doing, what is the result of it? What impact has those borrowing done? Because you expect that there should have been some changes being made here and there. There should be some gaps that should have been covered, and then the policies too. How the policies, are they really effective? Not only effective, do they affect the common man negatively or positively? Because largely this is just what will happen. I just remembered there was a time, when was it Uganda that had the election, and the whole internet space was shut down, and it affected a lot of things. The same way, when we hear news of inflation, or there's a drastic change in the economic situation of the country, that it's going to affect everything, and then it looks as if everything wants to shut down. But this also should remind the government that whatever policies they are pushing out, whatever plans that they have, be it physical restructuring, be it in terms of loans that they want to use to develop some amenities to make life easier for Nigerians, whatever it is, whatever decisions that they are making, they should know that once it affects the masses, negatively or positively, it will come back to affect the nation. And that was why I wasn't really bothered when I saw the what will I call it now, the rating, in terms of comparing us to Ghana. It shows you that if the economy is not doing well, if it is harsh, the level of investment we are supposed to get will be pushed to other countries that are favorable, doing well than us. So it's not just even affecting Nigerians as citizens, it's going to affect the economy. Then the investors too, it will push them out to where they can,
talking about investors, Twitter came to Africa, and they set up their headquarters in Ghana, and the federal government has always have spoken. The Minister of Information and Culture, Alhaji Lai Mohammed, yesterday blamed those he described as unpatriotic Nigerians for the decision by Twitter to take Ghana as its African headquarters. Mohammed, during an interaction with blamed Nigerians for projecting the image of the country negatively on, especially during the NSAS protest last October. A nationwide protest started on Twitter before physically mobilization on the streets. Both the All Progressive Congress and the People's Democratic Party also bring over Twitter's decision. Mohammed said natural expectation would have been for Nigeria to be the hub of Twitter, especially with this part of Africa, even with the fact that we have 25.4 million Twitter users in Nigeria against 8 million users in Accra. So clearly, the decision was not a commercial and business one, but I think Twitter has a prerogative and exclusive right to where to site its headquarters. But I hope that this will serve as a lesson to Nigerians. I'm wondering why we always have to see things as a fight and always have to come negatively. It's a big win for Africa in the first place. It's even in West Africa. Ghana is close by. But then the fact that what are your thoughts on the fact that the government has constantly tried to downplay the events that happened during the NSAS?
I also see it from the angle of being defensive, and the defense they are putting up is not even good. Whatever happened, during the NSAS was caused. It came from a particular source. There are events that have accumulated that careful attention wasn't paid to. That brought out a lot of hunger you saw in people, a lot of the revolution coming out from the fact that people didn't like the way the situation was. And the fact that social media has been made useful, it gives us updates, whether it's positive or negative, it just pushes it out, allows us to know, to be conscious of what is happening around us, which ordinarily, it might not be reported in the media. There might be a face of, oh, let's not report this, let's downplay this, let's shut it down. But you find out that the media becomes a tool to bring out all sorts. In as much as we even read those things, we want to verify before jumping into conclusions. But it has made it possible for us to be aware of what happens in our immediate environment. Okay. We don't even want to talk about the business aspect because we know the advantage it has done to some business.
Yes.
But the fact remains that it has opened our eyes. It's taking us out of the box to begin to see things that ordinarily we are not aware of, we are not conscious of, we are not committed to. Why coming? But no, you have it right there in the media. You have it right there, especially on social media. And voices are being heard from all over the world. Those are the situations that the social media has helped to push out, including the NSAS protest. But the fact remains that the criteria that Twitter used, yes, we can find out why did they actually choose Ghana. One of the things that I'm even looking at is the consistency in the power supply in Ghana. As we see, they said we are the one using Kanjida, we give light to them. But now, something anniversary of no interruption in power supply. We are wondering, who should you even ask what is going on? Except there is a move by people to make the complaint. You see, the power authorities responding to complaints of people. Now, aside the fact that there's stable power in that particular African country, yes, Ghana represents an African country, and Nigeria is seen bigger than Ghana in all aspects. But if you lately, over the couple of years that we've been experiencing so many issues, there are tendencies that Twitter could feel they are not even, they can't be flexible enough. They can't be comfortable enough to have their headquarters here. This is the same Twitter that shut down the former president of United States from when he decided to use the Twitter platform as a tool for him to begin to do his own negative propaganda against his own people. So if Twitter comes to Nigeria as headquarters, that means that when we say anything or the government does anything that they feel is not even, the citizens come out to say something that they feel is not comfortable with, as the way they try to shut down press freedom, that means that Twitter can decide to shut the federal government up from doing that. And do you think the federal government will even allow that? Ordinarily, they are suppressing the media we have in Nigeria. They are trying to shut her down. They are trying to bring out a bill, in as much as it means good to caution what comes out in the social media, but they know the intent of why they are doing that.
Could that be one of the reasons why Twitter decided to pick Ghana?
If there's no press freedom in a particular country,
the social media bill that is in Nigeria.
That's it, because we already know what is going on. Even if we want to control what goes on in social media, there are other reasons why the government is putting up that bill. But does it stop expression doesn't stop information from going out. And the pathetic thing about it is that once an information goes out in the media, how do you easily get the source of it? We don't even have the technicality to do that. We don't have it. And that's why Twitter can decide to shut anybody down when we see that you are using the platform negatively. And that could be an advantage to us. But when it comes to the side of the government, are they going to, be flexible enough to accept that we have done wrong to those people? Let's just apologize.
Yeah, what are your thoughts on the fact that the current administration of President Muhammadu Buhari and those ministers, a lot of them in position of authority, have always been reactive than proactive in their response to events? So first off, this is, like I said earlier, Twitter coming to Africa first is a big win for Africa. Coming to West Africa and deciding to pick a neighboring country to Nigeria is also like a big win. But why is the government, seeing it as negativity? Another person tweeted and said, we got Facebook headquarters in Africa, and Nigeria got Facebook headquarters. Facebook headquarters for Africa is in Nigeria, and Twitter is in Ghana. It's a win-win for Africa. Why is the government still seeing this as even the comments by one of the special advisors to the president sparked a kind of conversation on what is the problem with these people?
Let me first note that every country in the whole world, they have the positive side, they have the negative side. Now, what every country should try to do, let me refer back to what happened during the term of Trump. In as much as he was a vocal president, the way he talks and all that, some people like him for that particular aspect, but the negative part of it wasn't giving United States a good PR image. And, that became a disadvantage to the US. Now, when you bring that down to Nigeria, the only way that would help us, to continue to give Nigeria a good PR image is the things out there. If the government can be responsible enough to own up, to be responsible, to own up, where they default, they are able to own up and say, oh, we have done this, we have not been adequate enough in this area, and then where they want to improve the lives of Nigerians, if they begin to do things that will affect the life of Nigerians positively, it will be in the social media. The same way, the negative things will also be pushed out. So if we want, I was about saying that, yes, we already have Facebook headquarters somehow in Nigeria, because they have different op centers and all that. I've even been privileged to attend one of their trainings in those ops. But the fact remains that if we want to continue to bring in positive impact, Nigeria to have its own what is it called now, Silicon Valley, we should begin to know that whatever happens around us will be pushed out in the media. There's no doubt about it. But how does the government manage those situations? Because if they do not manage it positively and it's out there, whatever ratings we are getting on anywhere, be it corruption, be it in development, whatever it is that will come with what the country stands for, it will be pushed out there. And whoever is giving out the rating will use those one or two or as many criteria to judge the impact of what Nigeria is making in the whole of Africa, because we are well reckoned as the giant of Africa. Let's begin to behave like the giant of Africa in government response to the needs of the people, in what happens in proactivity, about what happens to people, to the masses, to issues. Once the government begin to react positively and they are proactive, they see emergencies as emergencies. They don't downplay. It is not when people are making too much noise that the government will arise to that occasion. That doesn't show a responsible government. But a government that listens to the cry of the people and the masses, that doesn't show a responsible government. But a government that listens to the cry of the people and the masses and is able to arise to that occasion will continue also to make impact positively, because the whole world, they are all watching. They are saying no country, there's no country that doesn't have its own vices and all that. But let's begin to celebrate Nigeria. Let's begin to push in the positive aspect of Nigeria more than the negative things that we are getting.
All right. Thank you very much. 25 minutes past 8. Let's take a look at the Punch newspaper with regards to we don't buy arms, we produce locally. IPOB tells DSS the indigenous people of Biafra has said it produces its arms locally. The group stated that this on Thursday, while debunking allegations credited to the Department of State Services that IPOB was plotting to attack banks to get money to purchase arms. The media and publicity secretary of the group, Emma Powerful, described the allegation as a poor script. He said, "We are not looking for money to buy arms because we produce our arms locally." While assuring banks in the area of safety, the pro Biafra publicist said IPOB members were freedom fighters and not criminals. The group statement read in part: DSS is propelling this wicked propaganda to blackmail Eastern Security Network and IPOB and dent our global reputation. He also says that IPO and ESN are not criminals. We have no plan or agenda to touch any institution, particularly banks. We are not looking for money to buy arms because we produce our arms locally and cannot attack or kidnap anyone for ransom. We don't inflict pain on the people. We are fighting for their freedom. DSS must stop this rubbish and engage their time on something more meaningful. The poor script cannot fly. ESN has never left its mandate, which is defend Biafra land against Fulani terrorists and killer headsmen. The statement added all banks in Biafra land must be wary of the DSS because it is possible that they are planning to sponsor attack on banks and turn around as usual to blame it on DSS because it is possible that they are planning to sponsor attack on banks and turn around as usual to blame it on IPOB and ESN. The group added that any armed robbery gang that would attempt to tarnish the reputation of IPOB and ESN would regret their actions. These are the words that this IPOB and the Eastern Security Network has had to say. What are your thoughts on the allegation by the DSS?
Well, I want to believe that before they came out with these allegations, they've done. That's why we're having a response. And for any government that sees this coming, before it aggregates to something much more dangerous, or that becomes a liability, for the government itself. I think it's time we begin to have roundtable discussions with some of these, be it Amotekun, be it Eastern Security Network, be it IPOB, be it MASOB, whatever the name of these pressure groups are, as many as they are. The reason is this. Now we have seen that most of them are coming out at this time because they want to protect their territory. That's what we've seen. And the reasons being that nobody wants their territory to be invaded, and then there's no action taken against those who are doing so. So everybody wants to protect the territory where they are. And that is why these pressure groups, they are coming out to support the security system in the country. And some other states have come out with their own small little niche of community policing to also address the insecurity situation in Nigeria. This should form a signage together with our security personnel in at the federal government. And this would also help, because we've said that in those communities, the grassroots people, they are closer. They know who is perpetrating what. And so once they are on guard, in collaboration with the federal security systems and all that, the results will definitely be greater at a larger extent. But when we begin to say, because these pressure groups are coming out with arms and all that, they want to begin criminal activities, it doesn't work that way, because we should first of all look at the positive part of it. And that's why I mentioned negotiations with them and know their thoughts. What are their plans? How do they want to come in and support what is already on ground? Well, they are not saying scrap it.
The group is not necessarily here to particularly support. I have been opportune to a couple of times listen to one of the SEC leaders, who is Nnamdi Kanu, and listen to their conversations. But I want to find out from you, what do you think is faulty about the approach of the government? The government, according to certain school of thought, I believe that the government was quick to label them terrorists, label them outlaws, and all of that. What do you think about that approach by the government?
The approach by the government should, be reversed back to what I spoke on, calling them to the round table before declaring them terrorists. Have they done anything destructive to the life of citizens? Then you can hold them to that. You understand? And all these groups, they come out for different agitations. They have different things they are focusing on. But do they do harm to the citizens? Do they commit criminal activities in the environment? And that's why, I have to mention some of them, because I know some have some agitations that is about, the way the country is being run, we don't like it. we want to change it. Some are still, battling with the memory of the last Biafra war. Some have agitations that, oh no, you can't come in and just terrorize our people in our territory. So all of them, they have different agendas. But the fact still remains that when it becomes a negative part, when the government should swift to action and allow the law to take its course, is when they begin to do things, criminal activities that affect the lives of their own citizens or community members. Without government doing that, then whatever it is that they are putting forward will not even result into anything. So there should be collaborations on the way forward, not to disrupt, not to say you can't assist us, because already the federal government is overwhelmed by what is even going on. Our security personnel are not fully equipped. Now, remember there was a time we spoke about whether machinery is involved or not. Now, look at what this statement is saying, that they actually manufacture their own weapons.
I was going to go to that. That is a very strong embarrassment to our government.
It is, and it has negative security implications. I've talked about the positive aspect, but this actually have a negative implication on what goes on in the country, because if anything happens suddenly, that means that right beside them, they have arms to take up, to face whatever it is. Just like we have been saying that, how did ammunition get into the country, into the hands of those that are not even supposed they do not even have right to carry it? So if this group is even saying that, let's even leave what we are even fighting for. Now we are actually empowered enough to manufacture arms. That is where the government should rise up on its feet and take actions and find out how this is done, because our security personnel are already complaining that they do not even have the necessary equipment. And there is a group saying, do you know that authoritatively we can tell you that we can manufacture, we actually are manufacturing arms, whether it's local, whether it's whatever it looks like. But the fact remains that they have come out to say this openly. The federal government should rise up.
If you date back to the Biafra war, it was documented that even as at then too, they manufacture their own armor tanks, their own weapons.
Have you seen the Yoruba what is it called? The Yoruba gun before that the hunters use?
Yes.
Have you seen it? It doesn't look polished. It doesn't look like the American gun. But I'm telling you, it works wonders because of enough. How would I call it now? I won't even look at the aspect that is well educated that do it. They are local farmers. They are local hunters, but they have drawn up a mechanism to bring out that sophisticated local weapon. That's what I will use for it. It's sophisticated, even though it is local. So if we have such going on in the country, why are our security personnel complaining about their sabotage in bringing weapons into the country? And that's why I said this is where the federal government is supposed to rise up on its feet and do something about it. Either they call these people to order, or they look for a way to make sure that this is not just left out in the open, whereby anybody just has access, to weapons.
All right, this is the newspaper review on the Women Radio WFM 91.7. Do well to send us a text or a WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537 to be part of the newspaper review here this morning. Let's take the headline. Our president is back into the country after a medical trip. Yes, our president left the whole of Nigeria and moved out of the country to go and to have a medical checkup for the last 15 days. He left on March 30th for a routine medical checkup. Additionally, his special advisor made the announcement that the president would return to the country second week of April. And even as of yesterday, even Lai Mohammed was like, wait, second week is not even yet over. Why are people in a hurry to know when the president will come? So finally, our president don't come.
Officially,
the president is back to the country. But then a couple of statements have been credited to Mr. President within the very short, less than 24 hours, is re-entry. And one of it, which is credited to Mr. President, that has sparked a lot of conversation, is on the Nation newspaper with Buhari to IG. Don't fail Nigerians. What comes to your mind when, let me just, fresh from, the 2 weeks medical trip in the United Kingdom, President Muhammad Buhari put acting Inspector General of Police Usman Baba on his toes. He told the police boss not to disappoint Nigerians whose expectations are high in him as the acting IG.
When some things happen, you wonder, where is this coming from? How did it happen and all that? But the fact remains that according to our constitution, which we should, be used to by now, it states that the president has, the executive prerogative, or what will I call it now, to appoint, And he has said this is the person he has chosen, just as he was able to choose all the others before now. And let's just hope God helping the new IG to do a very good job. So all eyes are actually on him. And, it's good to have the president back because, that it's not going to be that easy when you know that your president is out of the country and people don't talk. You have to talk. He's the head of state. He is the commander in chief. We should be worried. I don't want to even go into the details of what happened, but the fact remains that if he went for medical trip to get better, to get stronger, it is valid. But it is also a human being like every one of us who want to take some rest and have some checks done. And so he is back now with action. He shows us that, okay, I'm ready to take charge again. Okay. Let's hope that now that he's back, he's stronger, he will be able to make some informed decisions. Now, talking about the comments, don't fail Nigerians. I would just say that the comment shouldn't just be made to the new IG. It also should go back to our president, not to fail Nigerians, especially in terms of this particular, will I call it actually, is that what I should call it? There's been a pain in the neck of every single concerned Nigerian. I hope that comment also, take him also back to know that he has a responsibility as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces to do the needful for Nigerians and to save the lives of our citizens. So I believe that the new IG, if we look at even some of the past experiences, the works that he has done, judging from the fact they said he has a lot of experience in different fields and all that, he has performed different operations and it has been successful. Let's just give a benefit of doubt that he's going to do well. And I also want to believe that now that he's on board, he has actually started making some changes. I saw in one of the news where I think there was a disbanding of some is it police is it checkpoints or something like that?
Yes,
in Lagos, Port Harcourt, and some other areas. Let's begin to be positive. Let's have this optimism about the duties of this new IG, because he also knows that a lot of expectation is being expected from him. But that does not rule out the fact that he has a lot, a lot on his shoulders that he has to carry. And I hope that he will be able to do very well to ensure that the security apparatus of the country, begins to have a new face to it. And also the fact that the responsiveness, I was just going through some of the past IG chiefs that we've had. There's something that is not collaborating in all of their appointments and all that, especially in regards that they've all performed in some operations, but when it comes to giving them this particular table, this particular plate of insecurity issues, there is some dysfunctioning aspect. So I also want to believe that the federal government, in putting them in those positions, should be ready to listen to them when they make suggestions, because most times we refer the blames back to the IG. Let's also look at the fact that is federal government listening to these people that they have been appointed, or do they downplay their suggestions and make them inactive? So that's one part. The responsibility of the IG is key, but the federal government should support him and back him up. When it comes out to say, my men, they are suffering, they are not well taken care of. When it comes out to say, we don't even have the security arms, the equipment we need to fight this war, they should listen to him. He is in a more better position. He's in the field with his workers. He's in the field with those personnel. So they should also know that their responsibility is to make his job easier by listening to him. And then he also has the responsibility to be proactive. That's what I also noticed. You see them sitting in Abuja and giving authorities out to the other officers who also, just as they made allegiance to be faithful to the country, they also have to take their part. You can't sit in your comfort zone and be giving orders. You also have to go there and see, so that when reports are sent to you, you can also, from your own eyes, you can see what is happening on ground.
Mm.
There's a technicality involved in their operations, which I know, is just the standard. But they should also go extra mile. We're talking about the lives of people here. We are talking about, you have made allegiance, you have given a hold to defend this country and the citizens from every harm that comes to them. So they should also be out in the field. Enough of just sitting back there in Abuja and giving, situation reports or just giving controls. They should also go and see. First-hand information is very important, and if they are able to do this, it will also make them to be proactive.
Thank you very much. It's 18 minutes to 9 on Women Radio WFM 91.7. Do well to be part of the conversation here this morning. Send us a text or WhatsApp message on 070-317-56537. We have text messages here this morning we'd like to take. This is Olusogaja in Odolai. This says, the last time I checked, it was the same line that has been insisting and persisting on his insistence to regulate social media and supporting social media bill. Which social media company in its right sense will bring its headquarters to Nigeria? All right. This is Adeyemi Kamara from Satellite Town. The journalist who exposed the former Minister of Finance, Kemi Adeosun, of NY's fake certificate, is telling Nigerians that to forget the past. The Minister of Communication and Digital Economy about the American terrorist organization list. Now that same journalist refused to talk about the minister now. All right. Adeyemi Kamara sending that message in. Barrister Ugo Suji, all right, says Daniel and Adeto, worsening insecurity in our land is a threat to Nigeria's unity. Buharis is indeed a truism. Through their voices may be granted greeting to the power that be, but holds the key to good health of the polity. All right, as Nigerians gear up for the warfare with no fixed front line, fairy painted speeches with dusty decoration from the government without employing good office to listen to the various ethnic groups as regards insecurity in the land, go on where? Information Minister must be in the know that Nigerians are the most patriotic world over enduring poverty, hardship, and all. Cheetah Company built in Ghana is right large government, the marketing itself with the toss of trust reposed in them by the citizens to the dust, giving insecurity and the kindred spirit bordered banditry and kidnapping. A killer headsman in the land. Query, is Nigeria and its land green? That's a question there from Barrister Ugo Suji. He said, hey, I'm happy Dan is giving account of how the market looks like. Perhaps you haven't married. You can see why you must not polish the evil in this government. Well, it's very important. Israeli Dogijo. He also says here, to the Minister of Information, merely seeing him defending his office, you can see he is very unhappy and guiltiness in him for knowing fully well that his hate speech law was actually the reason Twitter would not come to Nigeria. Another thing is power and insecurity. Israel in Gijo. Darlington from Ijegun says the standard of living of this government is too high, costly, and expensive. Minimum wage cannot survive the economy. If indigenous production of goods and services are impoverishing us, government should wake up. The economy is dying. It's unfortunate because the inflation is producing multiplier effects with continuous trend. Please call 911. Well, I called them. Let's hope the government listens to us this morning. Very lengthy one here. Can I get your social media handle so I can follow you? All right. I'm trying to. Emeka Okoro from Shomolu. He says, good morning, Dan. Please help me address these boggling questions concerns of mine. Is the problem of Nigeria the constitution, the presidency, or lack of implementation of the constitution? That's one. Statistics, insecurity, unemployment, and inflation have skyrocketed to the highest level. Does the government have a framework tackling the menace, or they are more concerned about winning elections in 2023? All right. Do we really have the correct database management system of a nation? If so, what is the place of history in good governance? Because it seems that we have forgotten where we are coming from as a nation. Emeka Okoro from Shomolu. I really enjoyed the newspaper review analysis. Special thanks to at Dayton this morning. Well, you can follow me up on social media at Dan Power Touch. I feel like I should answer all of this your question on my social media platform. So just although I started off a series, so an episode will be dropping today, most likely at like 6 p.m. tonight. So if you go through my social media platform on Instagram specifically, and maybe on YouTube, I would be taking time to answer some of the top stories. But these ones that you have mentioned, Emeka, I might handle them by Monday on my page. So just do want to follow me up on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram. Anywhere, just type Dan Power Touch. You'll find me. All right. Additional Wasiu says the marketing Nigeria by Information Minister PMB, and also for President. I'm not sure I'm getting your message this morning. Additional Wasiu, just help me rephrase it. Says Nigeria got what they wanted by electing the government in power. 2023 around the corner. Nigerians, shine your eyes. Jerry in Peace Estate says monopoly is not good for any country. All right, that's Jerry in Peace Estate, Barua. Okay, we have a text message here. This is from Makandi in Ibafo. It says weapons produced by the IPOB is creating rot. What about Boko Haram and the bandits who gave them arms? Have these people in power taken it serious to ask where they got their weapons from, instead of them encouraging them and stop wasting taxpayers' money buying arms that can be produced here in our country if they don't have moves of stealing it? All right, the new IG has not said what his predecessor did not say. Very soon he will be remoted like others. Twitter headquarters in Ghana was done because of that. It was done because of Lai Mohammed himself. Please, we must take Obaseki's information as true, because the Minister of Finance has joined the rest of them. Makandi in Ibafo. Makandi, please help us keep your messages very civil. I appreciate you sending me messages. I love it when you text me. It makes me feel like I'm doing something great. But also help me and help us keep your messages very civil. Don't fail Nigerian, says Buhari. The statement is pregnant because recently we haven't identified who is Nigeria or what by what the northern governors are saying about leadership. The disarming of some police in Lagos and Port Harcourt is deadly, as it would make it easier for bandits and other to infiltrate the areas. Another angle, Israel in Ogijo. All right, let's quickly look at the concerns of Obaseki, and he has stood by his words, but he has not been able to substantiate it as much as he has stood by it, claiming that the federal government printed 60 billion naira to help the federal government allocation, to help the federal government allocation that went to states in the month of March. But the Edo State Governor Obaseki has ordered the federal government to take urgent steps in current monetary rascality so as to prevent the prevailing economic challenge from degenerating further. Obaseki, who had come under fire for saying that the federal government printed 60 billion naira to share as part of federal allocation in March, in a statement that he signed on Thursday, said it was time to stop playing the ostrich and approach Nigeria's project with all sense of responsibility and commitment. Obaseki said this as the Central Bank of Nigeria faulted Edo State Governor's claim that it printed 60 billion naira in March for the federal government. The Minister of Finance and Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, has also faulted Obaseki on Wednesday. In an interview with state correspondent, the minister described Obaseki's claim as untrue, but the governor on Thursday insisted on his position. The governor of his state definitely has the right to say what he has to say, but then this is if we're to look at this, I was just thinking 60 billion naira is not 60,000 naira. Printing 60 billion naira worth of cash. Of course, to print that amount of money, you would spend. I was trying to do the math on how much money you would actually use to print those notes themselves, right? So money was spent to print those notes, and then I'm thinking, why did we have to do that? Is the government of the country right now failing to admit that we are in a financial crisis?
That's a very strong word. Are they failing to admit? The fact remains that I'm even wondering, and not really wondering in the sense of wondering, but I'm just trying to also, sleep on what the governor, the Edo State governor, is even saying. How did this information get out in the first place? Are they valid? Is it for a propaganda? Is it true? Is it false? All those things are just coming in because at times you have to weigh some of these informations that get out. And when they get out, there are some underlying questions as well. Why is he pushing this out? Why is he speaking about it? Does he sense danger? Does he sense, and he has said it, stop playing ostrich. we all know, we did a little bit of literature. We know what that means. And also the fact that he continues to stand and say, this information that I'm giving out is valid. That's another aspect to it. Owning up to the financial situation of Nigeria is another ballgame entirely, because it seems the way things are, we with the masses, we are feeling it, we are saying it. Yeah. This is the level we are in economically, but the government is not even seeing that, or maybe they are seeing it, they are not even coming out to say, oh, economic situation is zero, and that's what owning up means. You face the reality of what is going on so that you can have a proactive step to try and curb it or solve it in a way. And as you also mentioned that, printing that kind of amount of money, you will use money. So why was the printing in the first place? What is the essence of it? Some have even said that. I saw in one of the comments, someone said, oh, they are preparing for 2023 election. Is that why they are going ahead to do this? So there are so many things going around in the minds of people. They are looking at the economic situation of the country. We are talking about inflation. The prices of items are high, and then we see how somehow these allegations are coming up against the CBN. The whole thing is all messed up, but the fact remains that the federal government should own up to the security, to the economic situation in the country. That is the only way that they can find solutions, because you don't expect that a governor, and don't forget, Obaseki is not an APC governor.
Yes,
he's on the opposition.
He's on the opposition party.
So that's another angle. That's why I mentioned, is it political agenda, or is it the truth? Is it the valid fact?
I think the only way Obaseki can substantiate what he has said is if he provides evidence to these claims. Although there are certain indications to prove that, to show that the economy is on a downside,
which we are feeling.
Kano State, slash salaries by 50%. Kaduna State laid off about 4,000 persons since the beginning of the year. Since August last year till now, they have laid off about 4,000 persons. And Osun State, Ekiti State have said that all of the federal government allocation, over 90% of it was used to pay salaries. So that's to tell you that states have been unproductive in the last couple of months.
So you can see the indicators
impact
are
of COVID, the impact of COVID was very heavy on the fact that we had highly unintellectual entrepreneurial state governorship. So that affected the productivity of states even amidst the pandemic, even within its governorship. So that affected the productivity of states even amidst the pandemic, even within the pandemic. Conversation about palliatives being hoarded by politicians. But we have to stop right now. Thank you so much, Adeton, for taking time to speak with us. We definitely would still, have to do more on this kind of conversations as much as possible. Well, do well to join us on the other side of 9 o'clock on the big question this morning. We're still going to be talking with regards to the Chibok girls, actually. The Chibok girls, Wednesday made it 7 years, which is making it the longest kidnap in the history of the world. This is Women Radio WFM 91.7. Once again, thank you, Adetunwa Adebogun, for taking your time to be with us this morning. My name is Daniel Adaja. Good morning.
We are WFM 91.7, the voice of women, using radio as a tool for women development. We condemn the abuse of women, girls, and children in any shape or form. WFM 91.7, the voice of women.
The BBC News World Service app makes